Hi everybody, 15th of June, another day in my life after the loss of my wife due to Parkinson's. And I've had another good day today. Been out, obviously I went to the gym first this morning, then I've been out in the afternoon, and I actually did a video this afternoon, just a couple of minutes long, just to try and show just how far I've come along, on this grief journey I am on. Even though it's a road I'll always be travelling, because sometimes just because I'm okay today and I've been for the last few days, it doesn't mean that I'm not walking that grief road anymore. It means I'm learning to carry the grief a lot easier, and I'm understanding it a lot more. It doesn't mean that I'll ever be free from it, because I won't. The grief's always going to be there, and I'm always going to be walking this road, this grief road as I keep calling it. I said in my video, for you, those that haven't seen it, that I'd been to a shopping area today where I used to go with Angie. We'd go regular, and we'd go for a walk round, even up until the last few days before she went to hospital. And then things went downhill from there. But today I did all the same things that we did together. But I was able to do them without any sad feelings. I even sat on the same bench, and I've done this on my video today, I even sat on the same bench that we always sat on as part of our routine. Even when she could walk, we'd do the same. But then when she was in a wheelchair, I'd park the wheelchair at the side of the same bench, and we'd sit there watching the boats, because it's by the side of the marina. And even at 4 o'clock, I'd give her a medication while we were there, and then go from there into Costa and have a coffee afterwards. Now, up until lately, I wouldn't have been able to do that, But today, instead of feeling sad and reflecting all the negatives, I was able to do it, and I was okay with it. Now, that shows how far I've come, doesn't it, really? And it shows that grief thing doesn't have a one size fits all. I mentioned my mate Malchus today, and he's only a few weeks behind me on this grief journey, but yet he's nowhere near this stage. Nowhere near. He's like I was after 2 or 3 months. I say it really just shows you it's not a one size fits all. It's the same road we all walk, but people manage to walk it quicker than others. It's mad. It's mad. So if you know someone that's lost a wife or husband or partner, and I want to reiterate the feelings that losing a wife and husband, etc., it's the worst loss. It really is. They're intertwined within your DNA, and you just live and breathe as one. I've said before, your family love you because you're the parent, or you're the son or daughter, or a brother, etc. There's a blood related love, but your partner, there's no blood related there. It's just your partner loves you for you and for who you are. It's a completely different. There's no blood ties whatsoever. It's hard to explain, and I really hope you don't ever get to know what I'm really meaning. I really hope you never get to know that, but it is. So if you know someone that's lost a partner, whether it's a month ago or 3 years ago or 9 years ago, it doesn't matter. Just please get back in touch with them, because I heard something just of late again, that everybody turns up for the funeral. When somebody passes, turns up leading up to the funeral, all rally round. They turn up for the funeral, and they turn up for a couple of weeks or so afterwards. And then it's as though others think, well, that's the grief, that's the grieving part. But it's not. Grief starts after all that. The grief starts after that. It really does. And sort of, you end up being left to sit alone at night and look at stuff that reminds us of what we lost and all sort of stuff like that. I mean, I'm okay. I am okay. I'm not. This holiday has done me the world of good. It really has. I'm okay. I've got my head around it. But please get in touch with them. And just offer to take them out for a coffee or something. Don't say, give me a ring if you need anything, because we don't and we won't. Even though we say, okay, we'll do, we won't and we don't. We won't. So just give them a ring or something, and I'll just call round, and just say, I'll just come see how you are, and then just see where the conversation goes. But just chat. It doesn't have to be about, the person they've lost and that, but just check in on them. Please. Yeah. So I've got that holiday of mine was the best thing I've done. It really has allowed me to get my head and put things into perspective in my head. It really has. But while I was over in the shopping area this afternoon, as I got back to my car, I suddenly remembered, and I actually laughed out loud at the time. One time we were there and we got back to the car, but it was when the dark nights were drawing in and the car park lighting was on, and well, I parked the car in the disabled bay so that the driver's side was up against the bushes, so I could get Angie out of the passenger seat and into a wheelchair and vice versa. So I'd got Angie out of a wheelchair, and when we were finishing, it was dark, remember now. So I got Angie out of the wheelchair and into the passenger seat. But because it was cold, I thought, I'll go around and start the engine and get the heater going and warm the car up while she sat, in the car, waiting for me to fold the wheelchair up, take it apart, put it in the back of the car and do all that, because it could take sort of 5, 6, 7 minutes. So, so I went round to the driver's side, but I tripped over the curb because it was dark. I then went face first into all the prickly bushes, put my hands down to stop myself hitting the ground. So I got all my hands stuck in the prickles and it's all stuck in my hands. I also hit my face on the edge of the edging stone, like the curbstone, all blood pouring out my cheek here. So I stood up, opened the door. Now I'm stood there like so. I've got blood pouring down my face. So it's now dripping down here. My hands are muddy. I've got mud on my face where I fell into things. And I just sat in the seat at this point, looking forward, like the way she was, because sort of not really with it. I just said, bloody hell, Angie, I've just tripped and fell. Well, she turned and looked at me and just burst out laughing. Proper belly laughing as well. Proper laughter. And that just come to mind, and I actually burst out laughing when I was getting in car, thinking that I could see the spot where it happened. Now, I love that thought this afternoon. These are things I'm getting my head into rather than the negatives. Thinking of stuff like that. I just loved it. It really half made me laugh. So it really cheered me day up, even though I remember bloody mud and everything. Bloody swine bursting out laughing. I think that was the say. She was hardly talking by then, so she certainly bloody laughed. Right, I'm going to get off. I've had my tea. I was starving, but I've had a salad and I'm going to be hungry after, I know that. So I'm going to go get my shower now. And what I thought I was going to sit down for the Spain game, but that was the early game. I got mixed up. I thought it was the later game. So I'm not sure who's on after. But anyway, I'm going to go sit down. I'll watch the highlights of the Spain game and then... Yeah, so yeah, I've had a good day. So today's quote is... Let me write it down. It's only a short one. Try to be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. And that sort of goes back to what I was saying about, you know, give somebody a ring if you know somebody that's lost somebody. You know, we're not all, even though we say we're doing okay, most of the time people aren't, you know, so bear that in mind. So thanks again for your comments, your support. I will do another one tomorrow. Press your like buttons, follow me, and as per usual, you take care now. Bye.